In the vast expanse of the ocean, a team of Navy divers embarked on a daring mission to retrieve a sunken airplane resting on the ocean floor. The anticipation ran high as they descended into the depths, their excitement mixed with a hint of trepidation. Little did they know, their discovery would send shockwaves through their souls and forever change their perception of the past. Jack, who had just joined the Navy, looked at the plane as it was pulled out of the water. He was excited about this mission, but he had so many questions. Once Jack and his team were able to find an entrance, they entered the plane, one by one. And after they took a look around, they were surprised. Instead of finding answers, they only found things that raised more questions. What had happened with this plane? But before we start, smash the like button and make sure to subscribe if you haven't, and hit that notification bell so that you won't miss any new stories. Jack had to admit that he was feeling a bit excited. He had just joined the Navy and he was sent out on his first big mission, pulling an airplane from the sea. It all felt so serious and special to Jack, and in a way, it was. You see, the plane had suddenly just disappeared off the radar. But what made it even weirder was that it had just as suddenly appeared in the sky. Jack and his team set out to sea in the early morning, and soon they made it to their destination. He looked around, and he found it all very interesting. Using sonar and acoustic imaging, they were able to map out the entire ocean floor of the area, and sure enough, they spotted something. There was no doubt about it. It was the airplane. It lay there on the bottom of the sea, waiting to be found. The ship they were on was huge, and it even had a crane. They needed it to pull the plane out of the water, but they needed to be careful. It was their goal to get the ship outside of the water in one piece, without breaking or damaging it. So Jack and his team took the attachment chains and attached them to the crane. The operator then slowly lowered the chains into the ocean, waiting for a sign from the divers. When they were done, they gave the operator the sign to lift the plane. As the operator placed the plane on the platform, they heard a loud noise. One of the emergency exit doors slid open. Jack and his colleagues looked at each other with wide eyes. They all knew what that meant, and it was something they had not expected. Somebody had jumped out of this plane before it crashed into the water. But how many people had jumped? Where had they landed? And most importantly, were they still alive? Once they were inside, they took a look around and immediately they noticed something odd. This didn't feel right to any of them. What had happened in here? They were so surprised because the plane was completely empty. They hadn't expected to find any living passengers. That would be difficult after the plane had been underwater for so long. But there were no bodies inside it either. There had to be an explanation for this. Where had they gone? They knew one thing for sure, and that was that one of the emergency exits had been opened before the plane crashed into the water. The divers hadn't seen any signs of this, but the door must have been pushed closed by the pressure of the water. As they searched the plane, they realized that not many passengers must have been inside. Jack walked over to the back of the plane and then he saw it. He blinked a few times to make sure he wasn't imagining anything, but it didn't disappear. He turned pale and he quickly called his team to come over. It was a huge box and it was locked with many chains around it. Whatever was inside it, someone didn't want it to be found. That much was obvious. As Jack and his team prepared to investigate the box, they couldn't shake off the feeling of delving into a narrative much larger than themselves. They decided to start a deeper dive, not just into the waters, but into the history of the plane's last known flight. Records were pulled and old flight manifests were requested. Each sailor knew they were at the cusp of a mystery that spanned more than the ocean's depth. While waiting for the flight records, the team pored over old newspapers and digital archives, searching for any mention of the plane or potential passengers. Each article read like an echo from the past, whispering secrets that Jack felt compelled to understand. Among the snippets of information, one article stood out. A mention of a prominent businessman's sudden disappearance roughly a decade ago. Jack could see his teammates growing impatient, the energy aboard the ship becoming as dense and heavy as the water surrounding them. Finally, a breakthrough came in the form of a faded flight logbook, discovered in a forgotten archive. The logbook's brittle pages contained entries that matched the time period of the mysterious plane's disappearance. The logs revealed an unlisted flight, one that had no recorded departure or destination. As they prepared to open the box, the sailors felt the gravity of their discovery. This wasn't just about a plane, it was about people, about lives that had been touched by whatever lay within. They were no longer just sailors, they were custodians of a story that needed to be told. With a mix of caution and curiosity, the team decided to unlock the mysterious box. With caution, the team opened the box to reveal a trove of documents and personal items. Photos, letters, and journals spilled out, hinting at the lives of those who had once occupied the plane. As the team sifted through the items in the box, they stumbled upon a revelation that left them in stunned silence. One of the documents mentioned a name that had been shrouded in mystery for over a decade. The revelation sent shockwaves through the crew as they realized the true identity of the plane's owner. The team's realization that the plane belonged to a person of great notoriety and mystery left them in a state of shock. The implications were profound. The missing millionaire, believed to have disappeared for over a decade, was somehow linked to this sunken plane. Their mission had taken an unexpected turn, and they were now tasked with uncovering the truth about the millionaire's disappearance. The Navy crew knew they had to act swiftly. The discovery of the missing millionaire's connection to the plane raised numerous questions and concerns. The team began tracking the flight path of the enigmatic plane. They meticulously reconstructed its journey, trying to understand how it had ended up on the ocean floor. Delving into the missing millionaire's past was a crucial part of the investigation. The team sought to uncover the enigmatic figure's history, motivations, and any connections that could explain his disappearance. The investigation began to yield results. The missing millionaire's disappearance was slowly being unraveled. Amidst the unfolding narrative, Jack's personal journey took a profound turn. He evolved from a young, inexperienced recruit to a resilient, resourceful team member. The climax of the story approached as the investigation reached its zenith. The missing millionaire's fate was revealed, shedding light on a narrative filled with intrigue, secrecy, and unexpected twists. The truth was both astonishing and unsettling, altering the course of the mission and the lives of those involved. With their investigation complete, the team presented their findings to higher authorities. The mystery that had persisted for years was finally solved, offering closure to the families of the missing passengers and the missing millionaire. The plane, which had hidden secrets for so long, was now a symbol of resilience, determination, and the relentless pursuit of truth.